This is Jason from Ingested, aka the Slam King, and you're watching RichardMetalFan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 235 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom, and I have round three with my good friend all the way from Manchester, England, the great Jason Evans from the almighty Ingested. How you doing today, man? Thanks for coming back on again.
I'm doing great, mate. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm just excited for all this new album stuff, new tour stuff. Like, it's just an exciting time, isn't it?
Hell yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to it. So last time we spoke, we were talking about your last album, Ashes Lie Still, but now here we are with some new Ingested. You have the new album, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams, coming out April 5th through Metal Blade Records. So do you want to talk to me about the whole writing and recording process, how the whole thing came to be and that good stuff?
Yeah. So the way that Ingested works is we're always in it's like a circle of writing. So we never stop writing ever. Like Sean is just our guitarist is just a writing machine. Like any spare time that he has, like he's on his guitar writing riffs, he's putting song structures together. He writes lyrics as well. Me and Sean handle like 50% each of the lyrics nowadays. So yeah, so our writing process, it never really stops, which is why this this album's been done for a whole year. Like, so
Really?
we released our last album, Ashes Lie Still, our Metal Blade Records debut. We released that in November 2022. And 4 weeks after that album was released, in December 2022, we went into the studio and recorded The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams.
Really?
Because it was,
That fast? Holy shit.
so because this is the thing, because we never stopped writing, the album was done. Like as soon as we finished writing Ashes Lie Still, before we'd even gone into the studio to record it, we were already started writing and building The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. So we basically had a whole year of demoing and recording scratch tracks and tinkering with all the songs that would eventually become The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams for a whole year. So as our thought process is, well, the songs are done, the album's done. So why waste time? Let's just get in the studio and record it. We've got a few weeks off here just before Christmas. Let's just get in there, smash it. We already know what we want to do. I think we were in the studio for about a week. We just bashed it out and just smashed it in because like I said, the album and the songs, we'd already done the tinkering process. So we'd already changed the things that we wanted to change. So we knew exactly what it was going to be. So we just got in there and recorded it. And then what that's done is that's given us an entire year between the recording of it and the release of it, so that we could get everything prepared meticulously for when the album's announced and released. So we could do things like make sure the merch packages look amazing, make sure the album artwork's on point, make sure that the music videos are done, like all the things that you'd usually have deadlines for, and you'd be like, oh no, we've got to rush around, we've got to run around like headless chicken. But there's none of that with us, because we work so far ahead that it gives us time to get everything prepared. So we're never running around like headless chickens. Everything's always done. So it gives us time to do other things. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
we just never stop. Like, we're always on tour. We're always doing something. So it's like, to give ourselves that breathing room, like, we work super far ahead because we write so much. It's like, well, when it's done, isn't it? So you just want to get in there and get it recorded. And then that gives you time to do all the other good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And do you ever, you mentioned, like, you write a lot of material. Do you ever worried like you might run into like writer's block or something?
I mean, sometimes it happens, but I mean, the way that we write, well, I can only talk personally from my perspective. So the way that I write lyrics is the only everything that we write about is taken from our personal experiences. Like, so things that we've seen, things that we've experienced, feelings, like emotions, like, you know, all that kind of stuff, just normal human stuff. But what we do is we'll drape that with like a veneer of the fantastical. So it's not quite as on the nose. You know, the lyrics are kind of vague. They're a little bit up for interpretation. Like, I know what the song's about to me because I wrote the lyrics. But say, for example, if you listen to the song and you read the lyrics, that might not mean the same thing to you. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, but because we write about general life things and experiences, it's like there's so much to draw from because it's real life. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the only time I'd ever get writer's block is if I'm not feeling a song.
Yeah.
But you know, Sean writes a lot of bangers, so like it's very rare that that happens. So
Yeah, yeah. With having all these songs out, like I'm just curious, like how much like albums worth of material that y'all are having, how are you gonna like try to like plan to like release it?
we have tons of material,
Yeah,
like tons, like we are
like
we
full
had
songs or just like the
yeah, like a
ideas.
lot of them are like full songs. But we had a Dropbox file that's that was basically, we called it the alphabet songs because there was like song A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. Like, and they're just there. Like, so it's like we've got all this material that when we're writing new songs or piecing together albums or stuff like that, we can, even if we don't like the full song, we can take like a riff out of it and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's always good to have. It's like Aladdin's cave of riffs.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
know what I
just
mean? It's just
endless.
like it's just endless riffs everywhere. So it's like we might not use the whole song, but we'll use pieces out of it, or maybe we'll be writing a song and then we'll be like, do you know what? Go sick in here. Do you remember that riff on song D? Let's get that, like, let's dig that out. Let's find that, like, and then maybe you'll find a riff in another song, and then you'll take that riff and then end up writing an entirely new song around that riff. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So it's like we just have endless material that we can just always just pull from. And we're always inspired by like stuff that we've wrote months ago. Like, and then it's like, oh, that one's sick. What can we do with that? I forgot about that song. Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It could be like death metal, like Oprah be like, you get a riff, you get a riff,
Yeah,
everybody
you get
gets
a
a
riff.
riff.
Everyone gets a riff.
Yeah, just riffs upon riffs.
Mm.
Riffs. And that's one thing I love about like Ingested. Like you're one of those bands that just never reuses like old material. You have like new riffs upon new riffs every fucking time. That's one thing I love about you guys is like you always have like new riffs every time. It's just always refreshing to hear like new music.
Yeah, well, some of them might be new to you, but they're old to us because they've been in that Dropbox folder for years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
get it,
like,
man.
oh, that's a new riff, and it's like, yeah, no, we've had that riff for like
Yeah,
3 years. We've just never
new
used it.
riff.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And with this new album, did you want it to also continue in the same vein as Ashes Lie Still, or did you wanted to try something new or different that Ingested hasn't done before?
Um. Well, for us, every album's an evolution of the albums before it. Like, we're not the type of band that's ever going to retread old ground exactly how it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when we're coming to write a brand new album, I know we did the re-recording of the Surreption, but that was because we weren't happy with how that sounded. But I mean, with regards to writing new music and new albums, every album has new elements. Every album has taken our history and everything we've done, but then we take that and then move it into the future and add new stuff to it. Because the way I like to describe it, there's two things. So Ingested, I would describe as like a death metal shark. So It always has to keep swimming all the time. Like it can't stop. It can't go backwards. It has to keep swimming because otherwise it'll drown. So, and what that means is that we have to keep it fresh for us. So we don't ever want to do the same thing over and over again because we will get bored. And then when we get bored, we don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And we'll just end the band because
unless you're AC/DC, it wouldn't work.
This is the thing, like doing the same thing, playing inside your wheelhouse, that's fine for other bands that are comfortable to do that. But we're not. Like, we don't want to do that. We want to be ingested. So you always know it's ingested, but we want to do new things, try new things to keep it fresh for us. Because at the end of the day, we're making music for us. We're not making music for anyone else. We've never once like wrote a song or wrote an album and gone, oh, but will people like it? Like, do you know what I mean? We don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm doing this because I'm making music that I want to hear. And the fact that we have fans all over the world that love what we do is insane. It's amazing. It's such a sick feeling. But we're never going to be a band that panders to what other people think we should do. We've always been a band that's always done things on our terms, the way we want to do it, how we want to do it, and when we want to do it.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like, it's almost kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you have like a formula, you'll let people, you stick with it. People think that you're repetitive, and if you try to like experiment, people say you're inconsistent. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you feel is right, and for like the songs.
Exactly, because it's like every band gets it. You always get fans that big fans of one specific album, or more often than not, it's usually your first album. It is for us. Like, a lot of fans are always like, oh, when are you going to do Surpassing the Boundaries of Human Suffering Part 2? And it's like, probably never. Like, probably never going to do that. Because that was in 2009.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We wrote those songs when we were like 18 years old.
Yeah, it was 15 years ago.
Like, yeah, like we're different people now. But the thing is, the way I always see it is like, just love that album, listen to that album. If that's what you like and you don't like any of our newer stuff, that's okay. That's fine. Like, us releasing a new album doesn't delete the old albums. They're still on YouTube. They're still on Spotify. You can still buy them on CD. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're always there. But getting back to the point is about us keeping it fresh, but also it's about us growing as musicians and songwriters as well. So it's like when we did our first album, Ingested had a toolbox, yeah? And in that toolbox, there was one tool, which was a big fucking sledgehammer, right? And at the time, that was great because it did the job, right? It did the job that we needed it to do, and that was fantastic. But as the years have gone by and we've started writing more albums and releasing more albums and doing more tours and developing ourselves as a band, performers and songwriters, what's happened is every album we've done, every tour we've done, we've got a new tool, a different tool for a different job, and we've put that in the toolbox. And over the years, now we're in 2024, we're releasing The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. And now Ingested's got a fucking big toolbox with shitloads of fucking different tools in it, all for different jobs. So what that does is that frees us to write different things, to experiment and explore things that we might not have been able to do when we were younger because we didn't know how. Or maybe we were so fixated on doing one thing, do you know what I mean? But now it's like, obviously we're a bit older and we're a bit less close-minded, do you know what I mean? So we like to play with different things and experiment with different sounds and elements and stuff. And that's why I think throughout our career, all our albums, when you listen to them, in my opinion, you can tell that it's Ingested. Do you know what I mean? They sound like Ingested.
Yeah.
But each album has its own personality. has its
Yeah.
own character.
Yeah, it's like a natural evolution, like going from suppressing the boundaries of human suffering to the new album. It's always like like a natural evolution. It's like you're not the same person as you were in like 2009. But do you ever look at like those albums as like snapshots of like how you and Sean and Lynn and everybody at the time were?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing about us is we love and respect our past, but we're not stuck in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
gotta move
our
forward.
yeah, it like our past, our roots, our history, like we revere it, like we love it, and we take it with us into the future. Do you know what I mean? We're always looking forward. We revere the past, but we're always looking to the future, if you know what I mean. Because without our past and without our history, we're nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be where you're at right now if it wasn't for
Exactly.
suppressing the boundaries of human suffering or disruption. It sort of like I guess the ground foundation of pretty much what elevates y'all.
Yeah, those albums shaped us as people and as a band
Yeah.
and songwriters and performers. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, so we're never ever I would never ever turn around and shit on anything that we've done in the past ever. I'm
Yeah.
proud of all of it because it's been a fucking journey. Do you know what I mean? It's been
Yeah.
a fucking hell of a ride. Like, and there's been ups and downs, and it's just that's life, isn't it? Like, but we're here now. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think we're about to release one of the best. I know it's a cliche, and every band says it about whenever they're releasing an album, but
It's like,
I
yeah, it's
think
the
we're
best one
about
we ever did.
yeah. But I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that we're about to release one of, if not the best albums that we've ever written,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we've put so much into the thing. Now is like one thing that's become way more important to us, something that we're really conscious of, like more like towards the last few albums that we've been writing, especially this and Ashes Lie Still, is writing an album as an album rather than like, so for example, back in the day we used to just be like, oh, let's write 10 bangers. Do you know what I mean? That's the album, 10 fucking banging songs. Whereas that's great, that's fucking great. Like, do you know what I mean? But the way we look at it now is that's not really an album. That's 10 bangers. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now we're so conscious of like the story of the album, not like narratively, not like there's a narrative going through it, but I mean, when I say the story, I mean the journey that the album takes you on. So there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Do you know what I mean? And from the start, it takes you on this journey, and there's ebbs and flows, there's peaks and troughs. There's a calm in the eye of the storm. Do you know what I mean? And then it ends it, and that's something that's way more important to us now when we're constructing an album than it used to be. So now it's like this album is designed to be listened to from start to finish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like it's like you can listen to all the songs separately and they're all fucking great. But the way that we construct an album now is that it's one whole album. It's designed to listen from front to back, and it will take you on this audio journey. Do you know what I mean? This death metal journey.
Yeah.
And that's something that's become way more important to us.
Yeah. And do you feel like like if a listener was to listen to this album, should they like start with the first song being Paragon of Purity and end with A Path Once Lost, or does it matter? They could be
Absolutely.
like, does it so, or can it be approached like from different things, or can it be shuffle friendly?
You can listen to it however you want. You can listen to it however you want. It's shuffle friendly. All the songs stand as individuals, absolutely fine. But the running order of the tracks, everything we spent so long meticulously, like designing how this album runs. So it's designed for you to listen to it in track order in one go. That's the whole point how it is. But you can listen to it however you want, and they're all fucking sick. Do you know what I mean? You can listen to it on shuffle if you want, and you'll still have a fucking great time. But the intended listening experience is to listen to it from track 1 all the way through to track 10 in order.
Yeah.
But listen to it however you want.
Yeah.
On repeat, hopefully.
Yeah, probably. But on the new album, you also worked with Josh from Silosis and Mark from Chimera. So what was it like working with them, and how did they end up guesting on the album?
With Josh, we've known him for years, because obviously Ingested and Silosis came up through the same UK metal scene. So we've known Josh for years and years, and we've always wanted him on a track with us. But the way that we do guest vocals is, I would say, different from other metal bands, because the one thing I hate at the moment in the metal scene, well, there's a few things, but one of the things I hate, especially in our scene, is the way that bands do guest vocals. It sucks. Like, it fucking sucks. Like, you've seen it a million times. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it. So a song will come out from XYZ band,
which ironically is a band.
Oh, is it? All right. Well, I don't mean them. I just mean whatever band, right?
Yeah.
And it'll say featuring this vocalist, right? And you'll put the and you'll be like, oh shit. You put the song on, yeah, and then 2.5 minutes, nearly 3 minutes will go by, and you're like, where the fuck's this guest spot? And then right at the end, there'll be a fucking breakdown or some summit, and for about 15 seconds, there'll be a guest spot. And I'm just sitting there like, well, what's the fucking point in that? What does that add to the song, realistically? It adds fuck all. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and to me, that reeks of clout chasing. Do you know what I mean? Because there's nothing artistic about that. There's nothing creative about it. You've literally just got someone on a bit of your song right at the end, just so that you can put their name on your song and it'll get more clicks, or it'll do better in the fucking Spotify or YouTube algorithm. And that's it. Like, that is literally it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, if I get a fucking guest vocalist on a song, they're on the whole fucking song. They're a part of the song. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's such a weird thing, because it's like you only see it in this scene. Like, look at the pop charts or whatever, and it's like you got Beyonce and fucking Lady Gaga or something doing the song together. It's not like Lady Gaga singing for the whole song, and then right at the end there's a breakdown and fucking Beyonce comes on and does 20 seconds. Do you know what I mean? It's bullshit. Like, so for me, if we get a guest vocalist, there's certain parameters that there has to be. So one of them is they are on the whole song. They are a proper part of the song all the way through. Do you know what I mean? Because we are collaborating with this artist to bring this song to you. Like, and the other thing is, it has to make sense. It has to be the right song, because we're getting when we get a guest vocalist, we want to work with them because of who they are as a vocalist and an artist. Do you know what I mean? Because they are who they are. It's not because of their name or anything. It's because of how they perform, their vocals. So what that means is that the song has to complement their vocals as much as their vocals will complement the song. So it has to make sense with who they are as an artist. So what we have to do is we have to wait until the right song comes along. Do you know what I mean? Because we're never just gonna, oh right, let's write this song so we can have this vocalist. That's never gonna happen. We write the songs as they come.
Yeah.
So it's just about waiting for the right song to arrive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, can't half-ass it.
Exactly. So that it has to be natural for us, because that's just how we are. Like, that's how we are as a band. So like I said, we always wanted to work with Josh for years, but the right song never came along until Expect to Fail. And then we were like, yo, Josh would sound amazing on this. Let's give him a shout, see if he wants to. So we gave him a shout, asked him, and he was like, hell yeah, send me the song. Like, so we sent it him. And about 4 hours later, he sent it back and he'd nailed it. And we were just like, holy shit, this sounds amazing. So yeah, he smashed it. Like, and it's one of my favorite songs on the album. It's amazing. With Mark Hunter from Chimera, this one was a little bit different. So usually, when we get guest vocalists, it's usually people we know. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just the way that we work. Like I'd always feel weird just out of the blue asking someone that I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But me and Sean have always been huge Chimera fans, like massive Chimera fans.
Yeah.
They're such an important band to us. Like, The Impossibility of Reason for me and Sean is like top 5 metal albums.
Yeah,
of
I
all
could.
time.
That's like their best album. That was like part of my. That's like part of like my high school jams.
Yeah, totally. It's one of the best metal albums ever written. Like, it's so sick, and it's such a massive influence on us. And Mark Hunter's always been a huge influence on me as a vocalist. And again, it's like it's one of them things where, you know, like where you have like a bucket list of vocalists, but it's like, oh, it's never gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? That's never gonna be a thing. And for us, like, Mark Hunter's on that bucket list, but because we've never had any connection with him, or we don't know him, or do you know what I mean? It's like, it was one of them things where we were just like, oh, that'll never happen, but he's on the bucket list. Do you know what I mean? And then weirdly, when we were recording the album, I think we went to like a gas station for like some snacks, you know, just on a break from recording. And Sean was on Twitter, and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And he's like, Mark Hunter's just like tweeted about us, or I don't do Twitter, so I don't know. Like, he's either tweeted or retweeted or replied to some anyway. He's mentioned us in something, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Mark Hunter? Like, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, that is wild. And so Sean messaged him, like DM'd him, and just said, yo, Mark, like, thank you so much. Like, we're massive fans. Like, that honestly, you've made our day. That means a hell of a lot to us. And Mark Hunter like messaged back going, yeah, no worries, like, love the band. And we were just like, yo, that's mental. That's wild. So then a few days later, I'd finished recording the vocals for In Nothingness, and I'm sat there in like the desk room, like listening back and listening back and listening back over and over again, and I'm just like, there's something missing, and I can't put my finger on what it is. And then just carried on listening to it anyway. And then at some point, like, the chorus started playing, and in my head I could hear like Mark Hunter's vocals. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, when you just like listening and something just twigs in your brain. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and then I mentioned it to Lynn and Sean, and Sean was like, well, he's like, should I message him and ask him? And me and Lynn were like, well, look, like, this isn't usually how we work, but what's the worst you can say? No. Okay, then, like, do you know what I mean? We'll figure something else out. Like, we'll sort something else out. We'll figure out the track. And then so Sean was like, okay, I'll message him then. Right? So he messages him and just says like, hi Mark, we're in the studio at the moment. We've just recorded a song that we really think that you would shine on. Like, it, you know, like, you'd sound amazing on it. We were just wondering, would you be up for appearing on the song? Like, and he was like, absolutely. send me the track. And we were like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, so we sent him the track. And then a couple of days later, he sent it back. And we were just like, oh my God. Like, it's exactly like how I pictured it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like he's got his aggressive vocals in there. He does his clean vocals on the hook. And it's like proper Guy Mera shit. Do you know what I mean? It just sounded so good. And yeah, that's how that happened. It was so weird, but ticked it off the bucket list. Do you know what I mean? It's not usually how we work, but that was just like, it was wild. We were just like, okay, let's go for it. Let's look, if you don't ask, you don't get. Do you know what I mean? You just
exactly.
You'll regret it otherwise if you don't ask.
Yeah, you can only regret the things you don't try.
Exactly. Like, so we asked him and he said, yeah, and he smashed it. Like, and it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah. Is there still any more on your bucket list that you would love, who you would love to collab with, and who would they be and why?
Corpse Grinder. Absolutely. Corpse Grinder.
Yeah. Respect the neck.
Yeah. Well, he's the daddy, isn't he? He's the daddy. Like, he's the total, he's the end of game boss. He's the final boss of death metal. Do you know what I mean? That's Corpse Grinder. He's the final boss of death metal. So yeah, I'd love to get Corpse Grinder on the track. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. He was such like a massive influence on me personally as a vocalist. Funny story actually. The way that I auditioned to join the band that would eventually become Ingested years later. So Age of Suffering, it was called. And that was me. That was when I first met Sean. Lynn wasn't, this was before even Lynn. Like, so this was 2004. And
20 years ago.
Yeah, that's mad, that, innit? So 2004, I had never done vocals in my life, ever. Like, I'd never ever like done vocals. All I knew was that I wanted to be in a band. Like, that was it. Like, in my mind, I was like, I don't care how it happens, what I have to do. I know that being in a metal band is what my destiny is. Do you know what I mean? So when I was a kid, I tried playing guitar. I sucked at guitar, so I gave that up. Then I was like, well, let me try drums then. So I got a drum kit and played drums for a bit. I was pretty shit, really. Like, do you know what I mean? I had good double kicks. I could do a good thrash beat. Do you know what I mean? That was it. And I was in college. I think I just turned 17, or it was just before my 17th. And my friend who played drums says to me one day, oh, you know, because like when you're all like into metal, it's like you all know each other, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all like in a college, it's like all the metal kids know each other and shit. So he's like, oh, Jace, like, do you know anyone who can do like death metal vocals or like grindcore vocals or anything like that? Because I've just joined like a death metal like grindcore band and we're looking for a vocalist. And I was just like, didn't even like take a breath or anything. I was like, I can do it. Like, I'd never done vocals before in my life. I was just like, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I'll figure it out. And he was like, what? Like, and I was like, I'll do it. I can do it. Like, and he was like, all right then. Do you want to? Can you like record yourself singing something then and like send it to me on like AOL Messenger or Yahoo Messenger or whatever the fuck it was back then? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it tonight. So I get home and go into my mum's bedroom because she had the PC in her room. And do you remember them? Do you remember them weird like desk microphones?
Yeah, I remember
like, you know, the long.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it in the first interview.
Yeah, we did tell. Yeah. So anyway, like I recorded myself doing Lamb of God, Ruin, and it was proper shit. But that's what got me into Age of Suffering, which is where I met Sean because he was the guitarist, and then that was the band that eventually became Ingested. Yeah. So I owe everything to Randy Blythe. It's basically what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, Randy Blythe, Corpse Grinder. I'd love to get Ben Durr on a track.
Yeah, another homie of
Yes,
mine.
because I love that guy so much, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I've been on a Shadow of Intent song, so I feel like we need to get Ben over here and
Yeah.
do a track together.
Yeah,
I think
Ben, if
that'd
you're
be
watching
sick.
this help our boy out. And speaking
But
of guest appearances, kind of continuing on, I know you recently were featured on the new Aborted album on the song
yeah,
Insect
politics.
Politics. Yeah. So how was it like working with them, and how did you end up guesting on that song?
Um, well, like again, it's like we've known Sven and the Aborted guys for years. Like we've toured together loads of times.
Yeah.
Sven's been on one of our songs as well. So it was I guess it was like an inevitability. Like Sven asked me and I was like, fuck yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? It's fucking aborted, of course. Of course I'm gonna do that. Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't even have to think about that answer. And yeah, they sent me the track. The track's fucking sick. And smashed out the vocals and sent them over, and that's that. And the song's fucking great. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear the whole album. I've not heard the whole album yet. So
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, this is also the second album with just a three-piece with you on vocals, Sean on guitar, and Lynn on drums. So, how does that sort of like change the dynamic with Ingested, and how is it like just working with just three of y'all as opposed to like five of y'all that you had been for so long?
I mean, there's a lot less arguments. because me, Sean, and Lynn are like on the same page. Like when it comes to musically and the vision and the goal of what we want to achieve with Ingested, all three of us are on the same page. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's very rare there's any disagreements. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's for me, I think we're better than we've ever been. Do you know what I mean? There's no negativity in the camp anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like we all know exactly what our job is. We all know what we're aiming for. And for me, it's like we're all way happier for a start. Do you know what I mean? Tours are a lot easier. Writing's a lot easier. Recording's a lot easier. So yeah, for me, I think we're better as a three-piece than we've ever been.
yeah. And I
You know
know
what I mean?
Yeah, I know live you also have Mike Barber playing second guitars, and you also have Thomas O'Malley on bass. So
Right.
are they going to be like official members, or are you just going to keep it just the three of y'all?
Tom was only with us for one tour. Um, Mike Mike and Andrew Veretta from the Faceless. Uh, we they both fill in. Like we usually tour with Andrew, but say for example if it's like a one-off UK show or a one-off European show, Mike will come and do it with us because obviously Mike's based in England and Andrew's based in America. So yeah, they both kind of fill in. And I love both those guys. Like they're absolutely amazing. As far as like us ever getting like official members or anything, um, it's one of them things where it's like it's got to be the right person. Do you know what I mean?
And
Because
have like the
you
same
see,
passion.
yeah, but this is the thing. You see it all the time nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many bands have you seen with revolving door members all the time? And it's like, I think it's shit. Do you know what I mean? Because for us, it's like this is all we've ever done. Like, this is it. Do you know what I mean? This is our band. This is our baby. And it's sort of like if you make someone an official member, that means you're giving them a percentage ownership of your band, which is something you've spent most of your life building. And it's like, we need to make sure that the person that we give that to is the right person and that they're here for the right reasons. Because it's like, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give, sorry, just let me get comfortable. I don't want to give an ownership percentage of something I've spent most of my life building, and to give it to someone who's just going to walk out when they get a better offer from someone else. Do you know what I mean? Because what's the point? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point? Like, it's like, I need to know that you're in it like we're in it.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like, this is ours. And if we want to give something that is ours to you, you have to be here for the fucking till the death, like the rest of us are.
Right.
Because it's not like I'm gonna fucking walk out and go and join another band. I'm never gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
the
gonna be my
OG.
band. No, but it's not gonna be my band, is it? Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna be
Yeah.
doing someone else's music, and I don't want to do that. Like, that's never what it's never been about money or fame for me or for Sean or Lynn. Never
Yeah.
been about that. I don't give it like I came into this world with nothing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm gonna leave this world with nothing probably. Do you know what I mean? But what I want is a fucking legacy. I want to leave a long-lasting impact on the death metal scene that is undeniable. Do you know what I mean? That it can't be ignored. Like, and I don't give a shit about money as long as my bills are paid and my wife and kids have got like a roof over their head and food in their bellies and don't have to worry about the bills. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I just give a shit about leaving a legacy where when this band is over, people are going, holy shit, Ingested were the fucking best death metal band of their era, bar none. Do you know what I mean? Their albums were fucking sick. Their live shows were even better. And if you didn't get to go and see them live while they were playing shows, you fucked up. That's what I want. I want immortality. To me, that's way more important than fucking being the biggest band or being the most famous or having the most money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I care about. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. And coming up on this is like your seventh full-length album. So how hard is it to like put like a set list together there when coming up on tours and stuff?
It's getting harder because it's like you have to balance the old and the new because the industry's all backwards now, you see. Whereas it used to be you do a tour to promote an album. Now it's like you're releasing an album to promote a tour because that's where you're making money. Do you know what I mean? So it's all just turned on its head. So for us, it's like we have to, when we do a tour, it's like we've got to promote the new songs from the new album, but we also have to play the old songs that people know. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I think it's a good problem to have. It's not a bad problem. It's being able to draw from all of these different albums, songs that people love, songs that we love, and that are fun to play. It's a good problem to have. Like, it's difficult sometimes because, like, obviously it's like you only have so much time to play. So it's like you gotta make some songs have to drop from the set to make way for new songs or to make way for even older songs. Like on this tour that we've got coming up in UK and Europe in April and May, it's like we're playing some songs that we've not played for years, like, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah. 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 And I know you also play with like a variety of different bands because I know you played with Cannibal Corpse and Dark Funeral, which is kind of simple death metal and black metal. But then you also play with like a boarded, which is in the same kind of like just super even heavier than Cannibal. Then you also did the tour with of Sulfur and Lorna Shore, which is just deathcore where we last spoke. So I feel like a Jested stuff can work with like any crowd. You're not just like limit to like just one specific genre. I feel like you can appeal to like different crowds.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a double-edged sword, though. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like yes, we can play to any crowd, but then it's like then you end up with the problem that are you too brutal for most of the deathcore kids? Or are you too deathcore for most of the death metal fans? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like it's a fine line to balance. But again, it's one of them things where it's like I see it as a positive, not a negative. Because I genuinely think that we can play in front of any crowd and win them over because of how good we are live. It's like the best example I can give of this is we got offered a UK and Ireland tour with Crowbar like years ago. I think it was like 2018 or 2019, something like that. And we'd never played with a band outside of our own wheelhouse before. So we were like, oh my God. Like we were like, it's fucking Crowbar. Like, and we're all massive Crowbar fans and they're a legendary band. So we were like, we have to do this. Like, this is fucking, like, do you know what I mean? This is a massive opportunity. But then we basically spent the entire run up to that tour shitting ourselves, worrying that we were going to go down like a sack of shit. Because obviously we are vastly different to Crowbar.
Yeah.
We are not the same type of music as Crowbar. But
Awesome.
because we felt so backed into a corner and worried about it, we were just like, fuck it. Let's just fucking go. Like, and we fucking went out there, big point to prove, and delivered such a savage live show that we won over every single crowd every single night. And since that point, the age demographic of our shows in the UK and Ireland has widened so much. So before that tour, like, you probably get like teenagers to like 30 years old, maybe, coming to our shows. And then after we did that Crowbar tour, the age demographic now, it's like we'll play shows in the UK and Ireland and there'll be like 40, 50, 60-year-olds at our shows now, all wearing our t-shirts and shit. And that's all because of that tour that we did. Because those people would have never have heard of us in a million years.
Awesome.
Like, ever. They would have gone through their lives not even knowing that we existed as a band. But because we went out there and just went, do you know what? Fuck this. Like, let's go. And felt like we had the point to prove. We smashed it so well that now we've won over those crowds, and now those crowds come to our shows. So it's like, I feel like we can literally play in front of any crowd.
All right.
And
And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I also kind of wanted to break off a little bit, but I wanted to try to do a little fun part of the interview. Do you want to play?
Let's go.
Yeah, it's who in the band. So you could feel free to say if it's like you or Sean or Lynn. So who in the band practices the most?
Ooh, Sean, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say Sean. Sean, then Lynn, then me.
Yeah.
Sean definitely practices the most because he's
Yeah.
writing all the time. So he's always playing guitar. Lynn practices a lot, but not
Who-
as much as Sean.
Who is the loudest in the band?
Me.
Yeah.
Definitely me. Definitely me. Like, I'm always shouting.
Who in
all
the
time.
band? Who in the band is the funniest?
Ah. I don't know. I would say either me or Lynn.
Who is
I
the
would say I'm the fastest. Like, I'm the wittiest.
All right.
But Lynn's the best at roasting people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Lynn's the most savage.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm the quickest.
Yeah. Who is the laziest?
Me.
Yeah.
Definitely me. Definitely me.
Yeah. Who in the band sort of like is the first to like get up early? So who is like the early bird in the band?
Lynn. Definitely. He's up at like 6 a.m. every morning. Like, when he's not on tour, when he's at home, he'll get up like the crack of dawn, get on his bicycle and just cycle around the mountains all day.
All right. And who in the band sort of stays up the latest?
Me. Me. I'm a night owl. Like I will wake up at 2 p.m. when I'm on tour. Like obviously when I'm at home I've got kids, so like I have to get up earlier. But when I'm on tour, I'll probably go to bed at about 4 a.m. and get up at 2 p.m.
All right. All right. And kind of also, and who in the band has like the most the who in the who forgets like parts or stuff? Has there already been times where you're like, damn, like how does that work, that line go?
All of us do it. All of us do it. We do it all the time. There's loads of times when we've all forgot bits. There's bits in every night, every show that we play. Like each one of us will forget a bit, but it's like you just get on with it. I mean, it's easiest for me because even if I forget what the lyric is, I can make the sound. Do you know what I mean? I'll remember the pattern, but not the lyric. So I'll make it sound like it's right, but it's not. If I had to pick someone who probably does it the most, it's probably me.
All right.
Probably me, yeah.
Yeah. And then kind of the next part of the interview I want to talk about is like band recommendations. Like what are like some bands and artists that you've been listening to recently that nobody has heard of that people should check out?
Our merch guy, Josh, has just started a new band called Malice, and they've just released a brand new single. So check out Malice. They're really good.
Yeah, and I have an artist for you. I had a coworker had recommended me this band called Keres. It's Keres. They're sort of a blackened death metal band from Italy. Like that, they have a new album that came out this year, and I heard like the opening track. I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And they remind me a lot of Belphegor. They're just so fucking brutal and heavy.
Nice. Well, how's it spelled?
Keres.
Keres.
Yeah, I was listening to it on Spotify. I was like, "Damn, this is a punishing album."
I will check that out later on.
Right. And kind of like in the end to wrap things up, what's next for Ingested? We got the new album coming out in April. Is just any tours and stuff, and when can we expect Ingested to rock in the Atlanta and the A-Town again?
Okay, so this year it's going to be pretty busy. We've just released 2 singles off the upcoming album Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams, which is out April the 4th through Metal Blade Records. So please make sure you get your pre-orders in because the entire album package is a fucking wonder to behold. So but we just released Pantheon, which is our latest single, with a music video where I did all of the props and special effects, which I'm really proud of. So check that out. The album comes out, like I said, April the 4th. We've got more music videos and singles to come out. And then in April, we embark on our European and UK headline tour. We're taking out Volusia, Vulvodynia and Melancholia with us. So it's going to be fantastic. That runs through April and May. Then later on in the year, we've got more tours in places that we've never been to before, which is really exciting. I can't say too much because they've not been announced yet.
Yeah, you'll tell me when I turn off the recorder.
Yeah. And then later on in the year, maybe towards fall time, maybe we'll be coming back around the United States way. But that's all I can say really for now.
Yeah, I'd love to hang with you again, buddy. It's always a blast to see you guys play.
It's always a blast to play for you guys, especially in Atlanta. Atlanta's always very good to us.
Hell yeah. So thank you, Jason, for this conversation. It's all great to be able to have you on 3 times now. There's just any final words you want to say to the viewers that are watching this to close this out?
I just want to say thank you to all of our fans around the world. your support, whether that's buying tickets for a show, buying a t-shirt, buying merch, buying the albums, even just streaming our music on whatever streaming platform, watching the music videos on YouTube, all of that support is the fuel that keeps the Ingested engine going. You are what keeps the lights on at home for us to be able to go out and do this fucking crazy thing that we do. So thank you so much to all of you guys. Like we can't do what we love to do without you. So yeah, massive love to all of you. Please pre-order the new album, Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. Please, if you're watching in the UK or Europe, pre-order your tickets for the tour that starts in April and goes through May. Yeah, it's going to be another busy year, and I'm super excited for it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. So everybody, Jason Evans from Ingested. See you next time.